Good morning everyone and welcome to my channel English Literature. Today we are going to talk about sonnet. Sonnet is very important chapter or important thing to keep in mind while reading English poetry. Sometimes I feel why this sonnet is just innovated or discovered. Blank verse is much more liberating. Can you feel that you have to write something, anything that you think that you perceived just within this 14 line boundary? You cannot minimize it, you cannot maximize it, you cannot write in 60 line, you can write in 30 line. And why people should just love to remain confined in those 14 lines? I don't like to write in anything in sonnet. I can't write. I have not that capacity, but even then I feel that why people are so much enthusiastic with sonnet, that sonnet form. Even after, you can say that in medieval England, the people that were Sare, in Italy Petrarch, they just inaugurated it, and Petrarch and Sare take it in England. Even then Shakespeare, okay with Shakespeare, Spencer, Sidney, but why then after? Even the romantic poets and even some modern poets also worked with this sonnet, with this confined form of writing. Do you like to write something? Do you like to express your emotion within this confinement? Okay, you have to write about your love, you have to write about your despair, about your grief within 40 lines. Oh, your love, your despair, your grief, all will be just evaporated if you are just given this strict rule of 40 lines. Okay, now come to the point. Today we will talk about sonnet. We have to talk about, that's why I am talking about. Sonnet is a specific lyric poem with a form of 40 lines that has its origin in medieval Italy. Okay, so it has its origin in medieval Italy during the time of Renaissance. It has a fixed rhyme scheme. We know that everything about sonnet is fixed. It has 40 lines, it has fixed rhyme scheme, that is iambic pentameter in English, Alexandrine in France, and hendecasyllable in Italy. So everything is fixed in every country. In English it is iambic pentameter, in France it is Alexandrine, and in Italy it is hendecasyllable. I just mistake in following the perfect meter. Now iambic pentameter. What is iambic pentameter? We know it is very important. Iambic pentameter is the line of verse with 5 metrical feet. Okay, I can quote a poem, first line by Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer day? Shall I compare thee to a summer day? So I am now talking about iambic pentameter. There is total 10 syllables. Shall I compare thee to a summer day. Okay, now divide it into two parts. Shall I compare thee to a summer day? Sorry, it just go. Okay, now there will be an untraced syllable and it will be followed by one traced syllable. Untraced, traced, untraced, traced, untraced, traced, and untraced, traced. So we find here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total 5 feet, each consisting of 2 syllables. So total there is total 10 syllables. This is called iambic pentameter. And sonnet was written in iambic pentameter in English, and it was written in Alexandrine in France. So what is Alexandrine? Now come here. Alexandrine. Just go on and take note. You can search them in Google and find in details about the example. Alexandrine is the variation of iambic pentameter, but there is not 10, but there is to be 12 syllable, and as well as divided in by 2, so there will be 6 feet. In iambic pentameter there was 5 feet 10 syllable. Concentrate, focus. In Alexandrine there will be 12 syllable and 6 feet. and there is one caesura or pause after 3 feet. So what will be structure? Suppose this is 1 feet, 2, 3, then a pause, then 1, 2, 3. It reminds me of my school routine. First period, second period, third period, fourth period, then tiffin, then fifth period, in that way. Anyway, so it will be like untraced, traced, untraced, traced, untraced, traced, and then a caesura or pause will be there, and then there will be again untraced, traced, untraced, traced, and untraced, traced. What is disturbing so much? So this is Alexandrine. And now what was that? Hendecasyllable. And next point is our hendecasyllable. Hendecasyllable. Hendecasyllable again is a variation that is used so much little. Hendecasyllable variation of iambic pentameter. Here we will find 11 syllable. Okay. A line of 11 syllable in iambic pentameter with a, sometime in English we will find a feminine ending. And a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Whose line is it? A thing of beauty is a joy forever by Keats. Now divide this line in hendecasyllable. Now divide this line in hendecasyllable. I will not do that because if I go on doing this syllable breaking, there will be no sonnet will be today finished. So the origin of sonnet is Italian sonetto. What is the meaning of sonetto? Sonetto means little sound or song. And the birthplace of the sonnet is Italy, we have already talked. Italian poet Lentini in the early 13th century produced the initial forms of the sonnet. So Lentini is the originator of Italian sonnet. Later Arezzo first used the classical Italian sonnet pattern, strict ABBA, ABBA, CD, 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 this rule. Octave system. This classical strict formation he just practiced by Arezzo. He was the avant-garde of Italian sonneters. So they were the Lentini, Arezzo, they were the early practitioners. But later in the hands of Dante and Petrarch, actually the sonnet get the modern shape. What we call today sonnet, that modern shape we got in the hands of Italian practitioner Dante and Petrarch. They perfected the sonnet form in their sonnet cycles. And what are the sonnet cycles? Vita Nuova and Canzoniere. Canzoniere and Vita Nuova, two sonnet cycles. One is by Dante, another is by Petrarch. And there they talk about the love with Petrarch's beloved is Laura and Dante's is Beatrice. The Petrarchan or Italian sonnet. Mainly there is two types of sonnet. One is Petrarchan sonnet and or Italian sonnet you can tell it, and the other is Shakespearean sonnet. And again there is the variation of Spenserian sonnet. We will talk about them in details. Petrarchan sonnet was invented in 13th century, the time of Renaissance, and the sonnet was brought into a high form of development in the 14th century by Italian poet and humanist Francesco Petrarch. And for that reason, this sonnet is named after him, the Petrarchan sonnet. So Italian sonnet is again called Petrarchan sonnet on the name of the famous poet of Italy who is Petrarch. His sonnets are dedicated to Laura. And who is Laura? Laura is Petrarch's beloved. Most of the sonnets are written for someone love for his beloved. There is exception, obviously Shakespeare's Dark Lady we know and Mr. W.H. Now Francesco Petrarch's influence spread the sonnet across Europe and gave his name to the traditional Italian sonnet form. The Petrarchan sonnet characteristically treats its theme in two parts. The first 8 lines, that is called the octave, and that state a problem or express a tension. Its rhyme scheme is ABBA, ABBA. Is that 2 quatrains? What is quatrains? You have to keep things in mind. That is 4 lines. So there are 2 parts. Suppose this is the sonnet. Okay. You have given this place. Let me check one thing. It come in my head. Okay. I should not give so much place then. I have to give a little less. I have to erase. I cannot do that. Anyway, sorry for the disturbance. Now come. So suppose you are given this place and you have to write within this place. So what will be the part? Octave, sestet. The first 8 lines, that will be the octave part. It will be 8 lines and 2 quatrains. 8 lines means 4, 4. So 1 quatrain is equal to 4. So there will be 2 quatrains and there is sestet. Sestet is 6 lines. And there in the middle there is caesura or a pause. And what does this pause called? This pause is called volta. This pause is not called, but this change of thought that comes with the sestet is called volta. Now, the Petrarchan sonnet characteristically treats its theme in 2 parts, that is first octave and then sestet. Sestet is the last 6 lines of the 40 lines that resolve the tension or answer the question. So, in the first part, you will be provided a question or some problem, some tussle, some anxiety that you have with your beloved. You cannot just quote her properly, she is not responding, whatever it is, your frustration, depression, anything it is, your question, your anxiety will be told in the first part. And then in the next part, in the sestet part, that question will be resolved, that tension will be resolved. You have finally, she will accept you, or otherwise you have to say, okay, grapes are sour. That is the sestet part. And now, sestet is different. Sometimes it is CDE, CDE, or it may be CDC, CDC. Is that 2 tercet? And again what is tercet? Tercet means 3 lines. 3 lines mean 3 into 2 is equal to 6. So quatrains means 4 lines. Tercet means 3 lines. While reading sonnet, you have to keep these things in mind: tercet, octave, caesura, quatrains, sestet, volta, etc. What is caesura? Caesura is at the end of the octave. There is a halt at the continuation of the poem. And how we learn about the halt? There will be space. Some space or mark will be given. Space or punctuation mark. And it is called caesura. Keep this point in mind. Volta. What is volta? Now I will talk about volta. There is a turn of thought or volta beginning with the sestet. Okay. In a conventional sonnet, a question is asked in the octave to be answered in the sestet, or introduces a situation in the octave to be interpreted in the sestet, or express a desire, P-R-E-S-S, there is extra, sorry, a desire or complaint in the octave that is assumed in the sestet. Any 2-part progression that involves a pivotal change that can occur in the sestet of the poem, and that pivotal change is called volta. Change of tone, change of thought, change of situation, that is called volta. This break is not always visible in Italian sonnet, not Indian sonnet. This break is not always visible in Italian sonnet, but sometimes you can find it. Milton reintroduced the Petrarchan sonnet in English on his blindness. It is his famous sonnet on his blindness. But even then, Milton did not use this volta. Okay. Sonnet in the other countries. Spain. In Spain, sonnet was introduced by Santillana. In France, it was by Clement Marot. But Clement Marot introduced it in France, but Ronzer, Pierre de Ronzer, was called the French Petrarch upon Italian Petrarch. Now we'll talk about English sonnet. Chaucer was the first to translate a Petrarchan sonnet into English in his courtly romance, Troilus and Cressida. There we find a sonnet which Chaucer just translated from Petrarchan sonnet. But he did not copy Petrarch's tone, he renovated it. Later, the significant contribution or innovation, you can tell it, came with Thomas Wyatt and Henry Howard, the Earl of Surrey. These two persons famous with the Turtle's Miscellany. We have talked about Turtle's Miscellany. They are credited with introducing the Petrarchan model to England in the 16th century and adjusting the rhyme scheme and the meter to accommodate the English language. So they introduced, innovate the Petrarchan sonnet and molded or shaped them like to accommodate the English language and English taste. And now here is Shakespearean sonnet from the second important person. The English sonnet has a rhyme scheme of ABAB, CD, EF, GG. So this is the variation. What we get in Petrarchan sonnet? 8 lines and 6 lines. In English sonnet, what you will find? There was what? 2 quatrains and 2 tercets. And it is Italian or Petrarchan. Now in English sonnet, what it will be? It will be 4 quatrains. That will be 4 into 2 means 8 lines. No, 3 quatrains, not 4 quatrains. It will be 3 quatrains. So 3 into 4 is equal to 12 lines. And we have already completed 12 lines. So next, 1 couplet. 1 couplet means 1 into 2 is equal to 2 lines. Total, you can find total 40 lines. So that is the distinguishing feature from the structural feature, you can say, in those 2 types of sonnet, that is Italian sonnet and Shakespearean sonnet or English sonnet. In Italian sonnet, 8 lines octave, 6 lines sestet, 2 quatrains, 2 tercets. And in Shakespearean sonnet, you will find 3 quatrains, means 3 into 4 lines, total 12 lines, and 1 couplet means 2 lines, total 40 lines. So Shakespeare practiced this rhyme scheme widely in his sonnets, and it was named after him as Shakespeare. Like in Italy, you find that Italian sonnet was named after Petrarch, it became Petrarchan sonnet. So in English, it was named after Shakespeare and it was named as Shakespearean sonnet. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alters and finds. So love is not love, keep in mind, love is not love, which alters when it alters and finds. Suppose you find someone else love and then you find someone else is better, that is not love at all. Spenserian sonnet. So this is another variation of English sonnet that is very important, we must talk about, that is Spenserian sonnet. In Shakespeare's sonnet, the quatrains were written in alternative rhymes, not connected. Now understand this. What was the rhyme scheme here? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, write it down. A, B, C, D, E, F, 3 quatrains, and finally couplet, G. And here you find this rhyme scheme. They are not connected. A, B is used here, C, D is used here, E, F is used here. So no one is getting repeated in the next. Okay. And now in Spenserian sonnet, what happened? The quatrains were written in alternative rhymes. In Shakespearean sonnet it happened, but Edmund Spenser linked 3 quatrains by rhyme. A, B. Now from here he takes the B. B, C. Now he takes from here C. C, D. And finally you can find E left. So you find that in each quatrains there is the continuation of one rhyme. Here B, here C. So this linking you find in Spenserian sonnet. Do you understand my point? If you don't, then again go through the writing. You can go through this writing. Here it is clearly written and to make you understand. You can find the rhymes here. One day I wrote her name upon the strand A, but came the waves and washed it away B. Again I wrote it with the second hand A, but came the tide and made my pains spray B. A, B, B. Stand, hand, away, pray. I'm teaching a little boy, I think. When man said see, that roast in vain essay. It's totally different. So it is A, B, essay, away, pray. So you can say it is B. Immortalize, totally different. It is C. It is not different. There is some similarity. Decay, pray, away. So B. So these quatrains, there is this rhymes in this first quatrain is carrying out in the second quatrain also. So in this way you can understand it very well. If you don't understand, then go through the text again and again, and I know that you will understand. That is the only variation. There is no continuation, but there is continuation. Now, in 16th century England, the sonnet took the form known as sonnet sequence or sonnet cycle. We must talk about this in brief, that sonnet sequence and sonnet cycle was a major feature in Elizabethan literature, particularly poetry. Amorety, it is sonnet sequence of 89, Somerset 88 sonnets by Edmund Spenser. It describes his courtship and marriage with Elizabeth Boyle. Again, Astrophel and Stella is a sonnet sequence by Philip Sidney. It comprises 108 sonnets. It describes his author's love for Penelope de Verux, but it was not successful. Every love cannot be successful, so don't worry. You can write sonnet. But Shakespeare violated this convention in a sequence of 154 poems, of which 1 to 126 are addressed to a young man. He was not a gay, I think. And the remainder, maybe, what happened? Nothing. Except the last two to a dark lady. And more important, Shakespeare used the sonnets to reflect on the different themes apart from love. So it is not, the sonnet though is in a bounded form, in constructed form, in a confined place, but the theme is not always you can have to love. Milton's on his blindness, Milton wrote in blindness. Again, Shakespeare wrote in various topics, so you can also write sonnet in various topics. John Donne's holy sonnets. Again, Milton. The popularity of sonnet declined in 18th century, but it was revived by Romantics. William Wordsworth. You know, William Wordsworth wrote more than 500 sonnets. So sonnet was so popular. Among them, London 1802 is the best. He advised, there is a line from Wordsworth, not to scorn sonnet. In its narrow room, it can hold ambitious and adroit themes. So this is his advice, so you must follow, not my advice. What I think at the beginning, in such a congested place, how you can just express your emotions, your ideas within this limited place. But when Wordsworth can write 500 sonnets and can assure you that don't scorn it, in its narrow room it can hold ambitious and adroit themes, so you can go through it. Even Keats, Shelley, Coleridge all wrote and practiced sonnets. John Keats wrote two of the best known sonnets. On the first, looking on Chapman's Homer, and when I have feared that I may cease to be. The Victorian period saw the publication of Elizabeth Barrett Browning's sonnet from the Portuguese. So sonnet has its long journey. It was not only limited to Elizabethan period or pre-Elizabethan period or Renaissance period. Sonnet has its long journey and evergreen popularity, you can say. A sequence celebrating her love for her husband, Robert Browning. Celebrated 20th century sonnets include Thomas Hardy's Huff, William Butler Yeats' Leda and the Swan, and Robert Frost Acquainted with the Night. These are some of the examples. There are so many examples. So sonnet is still now going on with its full-fledged popularity. Okay. So you must not underestimate sonnet, and I feel after reading all these things and after reading Wordsworth that I must not underestimate sonnet. Sonnet has a larger scope. Okay. I am not in the mood of faking. Okay, I really feel so now that we can do something innovative with a theme and work in sonnet more vigorously. If Wordsworth can write 500 sonnets, this is so amazing, and even in 20th century find so many writers who are experienced with sonnets, so it is not such scornful matter that it is confined. Okay, go through the sonnet.